All right, hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. We're going to get going here in just a second. I just want to make sure everyone can hear me and hear us, and then we'll start having some fun.
That's it, fun.
All right, so they said we're doing good. Got a bunch of people tuning in here. So as everyone can see, we are back with my dad, also known as the Lock Father.
Hello.
As it feel? I mean, it's been a good month or so. I mean, you have the jitters again a little bit?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, hey guys, so we got our Topo Chicos right here. Dad, cheers. Cheers to all you out there drinking it with us. And we'll chat around here for a few minutes and get going. And
just popped up in one of my nose.
I mean, can you guzzle?
Oh yeah.
Even bubbly stuff? Does it hurt?
No.
Really?
I'll demonstrate one day.
Really? You know, well, hey guys, we
Live.
we just heard it. You know, one day. We're going to get him to guzzle a couple, Budweisers, Coors Light. Coors. Oh, that'll be good stuff. Good stuff. So, looks like a lot of you tuning in here. Let's go up and let's just say hi to a few really quick. Let's go at Sean Baker, Watt Volt Amp, G Keyman 565. Michael, we got James Eastep, Kevin Eastman. Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. So hey, and by the way, Bart Simpson, who's on here right now, he actually just emailed us in. So he asked for a couple Lock Boss stickers to put on his race car. And he actually,
awesome.
He actually just sent us a couple pictures that we'll have up on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. Maybe they're already on. Maybe they're already on there. Maybe not. Let me... see, if not, it'll be very, very soon. Let me see if it's already on here. Yep, okay, not yet, but they will be soon. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Very cool. It's kind of cool to see. Even put a little hashtag LockBoss on the license plate.
Awesome.
Yeah. Good stuff. So, now, Dad, I want to recap with you a little bit.
Okay.
From, what was it? 3-4 weeks ago, Megan and Kylie roasted me on here.
Loved it.
Did you?
Anything to give you a hard time, son.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty good. I mean, were you loving every minute of it? Like, do you think they went too hard, too easy? I mean,
You weren't crying, so they did okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh man, that's funny. I think they did a good job bringing up my weird habits, I guess you would call them.
Yes, you do have a few.
Right, and then we've been bringing on. We had a couple. We had Tony from Advanced Diagnostics on Ilko, and then we had Anthony from JMA last week.
They were great.
They were. We have some more good guests coming up, so we're excited about that. Looks like we have the Locksmith Life is the username here, but it's really Chad. And Chad sent in the Lockfather a special shirt. Now you might need to stand up. I don't know if people can see. Let's see here. The Lockfather t-shirt. Look at that.
Thanks, Chad. It's awesome, comfortable, and, fantastic.
I think it makes you look buff, too. Like muscle.
Thanks, Chad. It's just what I need. Now, when I go to the gym, the girls will look at me differently.
Yeah. So, nice shirt.
Yeah, very nice. That was very nice of you, Chad.
Very cool. And so, as a matter of fact, Chad and I recorded a podcast that'll be coming out here in a couple weeks, so it should be kind of fun. First ever community interview of a podcast, and I think everyone will like it. think everyone will like it. So let's see what we got going on in here. Oh yeah, Mr. MK Riki, first timer, joining in live. Thanks for tuning in. Very cool. And as you guys could see, hopefully you've seen in the advertisements, we're giving away. Want to hand that to me here? That a Autech iKey 820 2-day. This is happening today. One of the 5 Lock Boss winners is getting one of these.
Man, I wish my name was in there because I just keep buying them.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Let's see. Yep, Chad's on there. Hey, everyone's liking the shirt. Very cool. Hey, let's see, Mr. Frank. Frank, how's it going? So, with that being said, Dad, let's kind of do a little recap over this past few videos and stuff. Now, on Friday, I put out the video on the Adams Wright storefront doors, and I talked about that situation where I got the mortise cylinder out and I rekeyed it, but I couldn't get back in. Do you at all recall getting that phone call from that customer?
Well, not really, but it does happen.
Yeah.
This is probably the number one problem when newbies go out and do the mortise, Adams Wright type lock, aluminum door. They forget to loosen the top screw and the bottom screw to get the tension off the lock, so you're able to unscrew it.
Yes, to get it all,
But until it happens,
until it does, yeah. Well, the other part of that too is, recognizing when you go out to a job, and like the one that I was talking about that I showed everyone the picture of. That one, it was messed up when I got there.
Right.
Now, I made it worse for sure, but it was already bad. But I still remember that day, the guy was super, super upset with me. It was past 5 o'clock at this point, been out there forever. He ends up calling up the main phone number from my dad's company, and he ends up getting you.
Right.
And he starts complaining about me. And I remember it because, he's really close to me and he was really upset. And I can remember you saying something like, well, sir, I'm sorry that you feel that way. That is my son out there, after he just got done just throttling.
We all have to learn. Because I went to a locksmith school and my first job was one of those lock cylinders. I showed up and didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
They didn't show us that.
Yeah.
So I called them and they told me what to do, but it's real basic, easy once you understand it.
Yep. Absolutely. So, so we got that going on, and we did the Smart Pro, and then the week before, we did that Smart Pro versus the Auto Pro Pad, little key programming battle. Everyone seemed to really like that one, and we have some good new videos coming out. My dad and I just recorded another one where, kind of the fun part is, like, the videos that we do together, I don't like to really tell him much outside of the topic before I hit the record button.
Isn't that the truth?
It's just more fun that way, right?
Right, nothing's planned.
Yep. It's just, it's more raw, right? It's more fun to have it a little more raw. So we got that going on, and so we're going to be giving away this Autech here in a few minutes. If you have any questions for the Lockfather, go ahead and ask them here. I have my eye on the chat, and someone's going to be hooked up with this.
Too bad it wasn't me, like I said. I think I have 5 or 6 of those.
Maybe this is one of yours I took. No, man.
It could be, believe me. Because, oh, Dad, I borrowed it, for good.
Oh, man.
Sort of like your tools at home, Hey, do you got this?
I know. I think, 20 years later, you're still accusing me of, hey, do you have that tool? I'm like...
When you come pick up the tractor, I go, where is it? Thought it got stolen. He took it.
Oh, man, that's good. So, and then we did the H92, the Y164 video last Wednesday.
That's the 3rd most popular key.
It is.
I was surprised.
It is, and that's a video, and I like the feedback on that one because so many times, that ID46 chip is used on a whole bunch of different vehicles. And you know, do you remember back in the day, you know, about 6 years ago or so, when you wouldn't have the right transponder key?
Then we went harvesting.
Well, yeah, you would start looking at the chips,
right?
And you can still do that on like T5, you know, basic like clonable type stuff, or like a H73 and H72, you could take a chip out and swap them.
Right.
But the ID46 chip in particular gets a lot of people messed up because it's the same chip, but it has different, algorithms and codes on it and so forth. So. Let's see here. They're asking for you to, can you slap me? I thought I was going to do it there for a second. But
sometimes I feel like it, believe me.
Yeah, that's good. Just call my family.
You know, we've had our Orange County chopper moments, believe me.
Yeah, I mean, back when we used to work together a lot, I mean, we typically would...
have a couple battles.
Yeah, we definitely had a few battles. That's
call him junior and I'm senior, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so without too much further ado here, I want to talk about a few things coming up, and then we're gonna go ahead do our Lock Boss giveaway. Someone's getting this Autech now.
Awesome.
So coming up, we have a new podcast that's getting released today. Okay, it hasn't been released yet. It'll be released sometime this evening, and that is I interviewed TJ Elston. Now you may have seen TJ in a video that we did.
While ago.
Oh, it was a while ago, probably about 6 months ago. And, TJ's been in the industry a long time. He worked at a nationwide distributor for quite a few years. And then now he's actually one of the sales reps for a bunch of the product lines that we sell here. So I really wanted to get his perspective on what... when he's dealt with as many locksmiths and, lock bosses and lock and key professionals that he has, you're going to see some trends, right? You're going to see some good trends and you're going to see some bad ones. And so I got him on the podcast, and I wanted him to give us, 3 or 4 traits that he sees common in successful lock and key lock bosses out there. So that's dropping later today, and then next Tuesday, he's actually going to be in town here, and I'm going to have him on live with us. So it should be some fun.
Yeah. What about the other podcast? Oh, you don't want to talk about that.
Well, yeah, we have another one coming up. So
the one I just listened to.
I think that was already released.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. I think that's a newer one there. So, yeah, but I completely forgot do you know what I was talking about?
What, until I interrupted you?
Yeah, pretty much. But
about the podcast. You have
with TJ. Yeah. Yeah, so we have that coming up. So it's a good listen. And then he'll be on live with us next Tuesday. And I don't know, maybe we'll be able to squeeze the Lockfather, and all 3 of us could be on. That'd be a good one,
Sure, I'll squeeze him.
Let him rise, yeah.
He's a good guy.
So, yeah, it's really good. Right in there. Oh my gosh, there's some funny comments going on here. So, let's go ahead and let's do the Lock Boss giveaway this week, okay? Now, before we do, I just want to get all on the same page, make sure we're on the same page here. So this is how it works. Throughout the week, we post videos on YouTube, and all you need to do to enter in is comment on our videos throughout the week and include the hashtag LockBoss. When you do that, you're automatically entered in to win one of 5 prizes every week. And these last couple weeks, we've been giving away key machines every week. Now this Autech iKey programmer, which is a great little programmer.
It is. It really is. It's worked. Doesn't work on everything, but it works on a lot of the popular stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's surprisingly simple to use. As a matter of fact, coming up next Monday, I actually did a key programming battle between the Autech and the Auto Pro Pack. So that'll be a good one. Mm-hmm. That'll be a good one. But for as inexpensive as it is and as small and as simple as it is, it packs a good punch.
It does.
Doesn't it? Packs a good punch. So that's how it works. Okay, it's free to enter, and every week we do the giveaways. Okay, so Monday through Sunday, comment on those videos, and then on Tuesday here live, that's when we go ahead and announce the 5 winners and give prizes away. Now, historically, we haven't been talking, telling people what they're winning, because we really like to see you post it on social and tag us at CLK Supplies and hashtag LockBoss to see it. But lately we've been kind of mixing it up and showing some stuff. We give away that Flash, the Nomad.
Well, you're teasing them because they all want to win.
Yeah.
Especially that.
Yep. Absolutely. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's announce the winners.
Okay.
You ready for that?
I guess.
Are you going to announce them?
No, you will.
Okay.
I'll drag them over.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, so this week's winner number 1. Hold on, reading the question here. What is the first choice? Okay. You know what? I'm gonna hold you off here for a second. I'm gonna ask you a quick question.
Okay.
Tom wants to know, what is your first choice on a lockout up against a Schlage deadbolt with security pins?
What do you mean?
So if you're going to a lockout,
right?
It's a house lockout,
right?
And what's locked is a Schlage deadbolt. What's your first method that you're going to try to get into it with?
It is a deadbolt,
and it has some security pins in it.
Yeah, those things are little rascals, aren't they? We've said some unpleasant words under our breath. I still try picking it. I pick all of them. Use a hook pick. Just keep sliding back and forth. At work, a lot of people can't get them, but it seems I get them. And as soon as you can't think you get it, all of a sudden you take your mind off of it and it turns. But that is my first. Drilling is always my last, but I try everything in my power to do it. Or if I have not another job, I'll try to hand file the key.
Have you had a lot of success doing that, hand filing?
Pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, there's some times where I throw the vice grips and everything back in the van and say, rah, 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 rah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a fairly good picker.
Yeah.
So I try, even with those security pins.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, but...
Now, how are you with the Lishi stuff? Like the Lishi SC1, KW1?
KW1 has worked. Schlage has worked. The Master I haven't got down yet because I've tried just sitting at my desk.
Yeah.
That I haven't been real successful with that. But HPC makes a product for tensioners.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of a tension wrench, put these little round discs. They have 2 little nipples out of it. And you put your pressure that way.
Yep.
And those...
You've always liked those.
Yep.
I've always found them kind of weird because it doesn't feel like the normal tension that you apply with like a normal tension wrench.
Right, because it's a low round wheel with a spring in it and you go. But they do work very well.
Yep. That's it. But, at the same time, now, it's safe to say, though, you're not actually out in the field every day, like,
not
doing
anymore.
house unlocks. Right. You still do some. When was the last time you did a lockout?
Well, I was supposed to do one 5 minutes ago before we started, and I told them I couldn't, so they got somebody else. But, I still do them during the week quite a few times.
Have you done one this week at all yet?
No.
No? No. Okay. How about rekey? When was the last time you did, like, a rekey?
Every day.
Like out in the field?
Oh, in the field?
Yep.
Not for a while.
Not for a while?
Yeah.
But, you do them in your store?
Yeah, constant. Depends. Some days we have 4, and other days we have 100, depending on what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as time spent, like where do you have 3 stores, right? Where are you spending most of your time? Is there one that you spend more time at than the other?
Usually the Hayden store because the bookkeeper's there,
Okay. I
have to sign checks and stuff, but I try to spend time at each of the stores each day.
Mm-hmm.
And, because everybody has problems in between, and if they are stuck on something, they call, and I'll run over and see if I can help them.
Mm-hmm.
But, I still enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
I'd do it for nothing. But
really?
I can't pay the people if I do that.
That is true. That is true.
Right.
So now, when was it like, the best part is I don't know any of these answers. I'm kind of curious now. But when was the last time you did a lockout at night?
Not for many years.
Not for many years?
Yeah.
No, I mean...
But I tell them to call me if they have a problem.
Yeah, or like if your texts aren't answering their phones, it eventually reaches you.
Right.
Essentially.
Right.
As well. So
then I'd get up in the middle of the night. For a zillion years I did it. You know? And on my way to the job, I'll call them. If they don't answer, I talk to them the next day. You sleeping through that phone again, huh?
Yeah.
Because it does happen.
Well, I mean, if you remember when I used to be on call, I could, he always wanted to, back in the day, right? There wasn't like unlimited cell phone usage the way there is. And so his rule is that...
Transfer to the house phone.
Yeah, I'm 15, 16, 17, 18, working on call at night, of course, living with my parents. And
he goes, Dad, why don't you go with me?
Yeah. And is what would happen is he would always want me to transfer the cell phone to the landline at night, right? But I could not hear, when I'm sleeping, I could not hear the landline, ever. I could hear the cell phone, but he'd always make me transfer it. So he'd come hollering in.
Well, your mother always says, geez, you jump up on a twig breaking outside, but the kids are crying and you never got up.
I think that's probably intentional.
Probably.
Oh, man, that's good.
And I'm one of those guys, when you call me in the middle of the night, I'm wide awake then. I'm not drowsy like a lot of people.
Okay, you're just wide awake, ready to go do it.
That's it.
I hear you. So, all right, well, that was a nice sidetrack there. But, okay, so we went over the rules for the Lock Boss giveaway. It's time to announce the winner. The cool part is I know I've seen at least one of these names on live right now. So, yep, I see one right here. Let's see, there might be two on here. So, or at least in the chat. I can see if you're chatting. So,
let's go.
Let's do it. And then, okay, let's do it. Okay, so winner number one of this week's giveaway. Now, I'm going to go, now just to be clear, I'm going to announce all 5 winners. Then we're going to put them in the hat, and the Lockfather here is going to draw live the winner of the Autech machine.
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Winner number one is the Disgruntled Mechanic. Congrats. And let's see here. Very cool. Congrats to you.
Yeah.
Okay, winner number 2 is Paul LeBlanc. Congratulations, Paul. Very cool. Here we go. Winner number 3 is Doug Kimber. Doug, congratulations. Winner number 4 is David Turner. David, congratulations. And winner number 5, last but not least, is Richard Linville. Richard, congratulations. Very cool. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to, I'll let you fold up all of those, and we'll get them put in there, and we're going to draw live the winner of the Autech iKey 820. So let's see here. See. Got them good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're getting them mixed up here. Let's see what we got.
Want me to do it?
Yep. No. The winner of the Autech iKey machine, the key programmer, is Doug Kimber. Congratulations, Doug. Very cool.
Congrats.
Yeah.
You're going to like that machine.
Good stuff. So, well, there we have it. The Luck Fellow, you have any final words?
Keep a picking.
Keep a picking. You heard it yourself. Very cool, guys. So, hey, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Next week, we're going to have TJ on, and it's sure to be a good time.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Always is when TJ comes around.
Yes. Awesome, everybody. Well, hey, thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week.
Have a good one.